Hello YouTube, this is Sam Gerrans from Qur'an.com. Today is Friday the 5th of June 2020 and this is just a bit of an update as regards to the psychosis. So by psychosis I mean obviously the so-called COVID-19 thing. So what I see is happening is that they're rolling out a new part of the agenda which is really just craziness. The message is in the medium, or rather the medium is the message, and that message is nothing makes sense and nothing's meant to make sense. This is a very clever virus. It requires you to stay 2 meters away from each other if you're standing in front of each other, but if you're standing beside each other you can be 6 inches away, nothing happens. Children, where I'm living anyway in Russia, don't have to wear masks. Some people do have to wear masks. If you are working on the road, you don't have to wear a mask. Apparently, it doesn't touch you. But if you work in a shoe shop, then it obviously it's going to be life-threatening. This looks crazy, and it is, but it's meant to be. So that's really the first point. The second point I think I wanted to make is that I think what they're doing is they're breaking people down psychologically. They're getting people to such a point where they're mentally and physically exhausted. If you do wear a mask all the time walking around, you get pleurisy. I mean, you get sick, there's no question about it. After a long winter, everyone wants to go out, and if you do go out, where I live anyway, you have to kind of keep looking over your shoulder to make sure you're not going to get jumped on by the police and so on. So it's not exactly conducive to health, and that's the point of it. But I think what they're doing is getting people so exhausted and so broken down by this that they'll just chip me up, just give me the vaccine, give me the chip, just let me go back to my life. But this is never going to happen. They're never going to let you go back to your life. This is how the shaitan works. He always wants more. He wants his pound of flesh and then he wants another pound of flesh, and he wants another pound of flesh after that. So it doesn't matter if people are clearly suffering from Stockholm syndrome. They can't wait to bend over for Big Brother. It's quite stunning. People that I'm close to, people that I'm I'm very close to, are suffering from this, and they think that obedience is the solution. Obedience is actually the problem. But my point is that once you've bent over once for it, you're going to have to bend over again. So this thing will never be happy. It's going to keep coming back for more and more and more and more. As I've mentioned in other videos, I think that the people who I call the Gophers, you see them on television, the presidents and the prime ministers and various ministers and billionaires and so on, people that we tend to think of as very powerful, and they are powerful, but they're powerful within a context, they're powerful within an agenda that they definitely don't write. You can see that these people clearly think that they have some special inside information, and sure they do to some extent. But what's really going on is that they're having to give up as well. They're having to comply, and it will never be happy with them either. And the reason I think this is happening is I think that they're in a rush. I think the people at the top of this is I'm not an expert by any means on astrology, but I think they know that something's coming down. They know that there's something big happening, and I think they know that they're going to have to lock everything down before this happens. So I think that is why they're in this huge rush. The last point I wanted to make is to do with integrated, interlocking agendas, because I expect it's easy to forget given the psychosis of the last couple of months. But up until a couple of months ago, everybody was just really, really concerned with the rights of lesbians and the rights of sodomites and the rights of this and the rights of that, and not offending anybody, all of these categories of offence. Or women, of course, feminism's been really quiet. Something you don't hear anymore is strong and independent women. No, that's gone away. But I think it's coming back. And what I saw when they brought out the COVID-19 sort of budget line. I thought they're going to run this for a while, and then they're going to integrate it with what they've already set up, and they're doing it in America now with the blacks rioting and so on. Like wind-up toys, really. You just point them at something and they just start rioting. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, I'm not going to go into the details of it, but it's interesting that this intersects with the virus part of the agenda, and adds to the unreality of it, because a few days ago, you'd die if you were within 6 feet of somebody, and now they're all out rioting and it's all perfectly fine, and it seems not to make sense, but it only doesn't make sense when you don't understand chaos, and what they're doing is bringing in an agenda of chaos, and that's the one constant is chaos. And so that's how it works. It's a psychological operation, a psychological war aimed at people who can't think, and aimed to make them not be able to think, not that most of them could think before. So that's where it's at. For me, it doesn't change anything, as I've said before. For me, it's just made more visible what I already knew to be the case, which is that we were living under a complete tyranny. But in some ways, for me, it's actually remarkably easy, because now, as I've said before, the satin gloves are off the iron fist, and now you can see. And what is happening is that people are really dividing into camps. There are those who can see and will acknowledge, and there are those who are just sticking their fingers in their ears and going, I don't want to hear. And so there's a form of, as I've mentioned before, furqan, a form of division. And I think that this phase of the rollout is to get people to kind of basically declare who they are on social media and so on. And what they're going to do is roll out the next phase. And the next phase is going to be, they've already tested the sort of delivery system. They know that they can roll out these viruses that are highly contagious, but they haven't put the payload in before. Next time they're going to put the payload in, and when they do that, then the supporting propaganda is going to be that you and I, people who didn't believe it first time round, it's our fault. If only we'd worn the masks, if only we'd worn the gloves, if only we'd bent over just a little further, none of this would be happening. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to make us the enemy, and they're going to make those people who incline towards submission to lies submit even more, and then they'll decide which of the injections you're going to get. You're going to get the kind of slow, expensive death injection, or you're going to get the quick, cheap injection, and basically begging. It might buy you a little bit of time, but it's just going to buy you a deeper place in hell, and that goes for the elite as well. So that's my take on it right now. I'm going back to my work, going back to my computer, going back to my editing. As ever, it just is what it is, and I'm going to release news on all of that when I'm ready. I'm not there yet. I hope everyone's well. Don't take all this propaganda too seriously. Fear God alone, and just remember, they plan and God plans, but God is the best of planners. That's all for now. If you are listening on YouTube, you can download my full translation of the Qur'an free using the button in the top right hand corner, or buy the hard copy there at 10% less than on Amazon. I also encourage you to sign up for the Qur'anite Plus newsletter on the site to get occasional micro updates. You can download the audio from my YouTube videos to your mobile device using the links in the drop down below. I recommend meetquranites.com to connect with other Qur'an alone believers. Like if you like, comment if you have something constructive to say, and subscribe to get more each week. And use the link in the drop down below to donate if you would like to help me keep doing this. And remember, this life is short, eternity is long. If you want good trees, plant good seeds.